Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today on the bench, we got the baby Mega Infraction. Gonna get some upgrades. That's the good stuff. Alright everyone, so I'm not sure if you call what I want to do really an upgrade. I already have this converted to a brushless system. I have a 3900 kV, I believe that's what it is, a Castle motor, and I have a Castle ESC. My problem was that this was running hot, so I bought an Arrma heatsink, and I had to cut it to clear these rivets and these wires, and now the motor's kind of locked in there because the way this heatsink sits in here. I'd like to make this faster, and I can't really do that with the way this is set up. I can't change the gearing because I can't rotate the motor. So I bought a new motor to put in here, and as you can see, this motor is considerably longer. So this is the right heatsink for it. I got another heatsink right here, right? So as you can see, the factory, the way this is set up, there's enough room for this heatsink to move with the motor in there. So that will fix that problem, and that will allow me to go ahead and change the gearing. Now I got these from Jenny's RC. They got great deals on some brand new like takeoff stuff, and this was actually like a combo deal. So I got the gearbox and the heatsink together. So basically what we're going to do is just make this car like a factory 3S system, the way the other Infraction, like version 2 whatever it was, came. And I'm going to be putting in the 3S ESC. This came out of my Vendetta, so I figured I took this out of Vendetta. What am I going to do with it? It's designed to fit right in here. It's going to fit in here perfectly because the Vendetta is the same chassis. So I figured I had the ESC. Why not go ahead and get a motor, and then I can go ahead and do the gears, which I have that as well. We are going to upgrade the gears. I'm going to put this to the 3S specs. So I have the 20-tooth pinion and a 50-tooth spur gear. Right now it's a 55-tooth spur gear with like a 15-tooth pinion, and it's just really slow. I had a 19 in here, but it was running hot, so that's why we did all this. And because it was running hot, I went ahead and backed down to the 15. But we are gonna make this thing like a factory 3S. The only thing I won't have in here is the Spektrum electronics, like the receiver. This car just came with a very generic base cheap receiver. It didn't even have any type of stability control. So I got the Dumbo RC, which the receiver has the gyro mechanism. Really happy, you know, Kevin Tolbert, a huge YouTuber, recommends these. It's really nice because you actually have the dual rate for the steering, so when you are going fast, to me, I like to dial my steering down so it's not so twitchy. It doesn't have like full tilt, so you go spinning off everywhere. So that's the game plan. We're just going to basically make this like a factory 3S system. So we'll have the Spektrum motor, the heatsink and fan. We'll have the 3S gearbox and the proper ESC. Now, I did have and the proper gearing for that. Now, I did have a viewer mention, he said it sounded like my differentials were binding, and that I should roll it, and then I would really know what. Now, I appreciate all advice, and I do take it seriously. I mean, and I was aware of the differential issue. I've seen videos where somebody like, and even when you buy these things, Arrma gives you a shim to put into the differential to help it out. But I've seen a video where you file it off. But he said I should do that and then roll it, and then I would really know what freedom. But I said I'm not putting anybody down or anything like that. I don't want to sound kind of like condescending, which it's kind of hard to not. But this is still with the drive shaft hooked up. So, I mean, this rolls pretty good. I said if you pick it up and even spin the differential, it rolls pretty good. Now, the front is a little tighter than the back, so I'm not sure. You know, probably could take a look at that because it should maybe spin a little bit, but as far as like straight on, it's fine. I mean, it rolls really smooth. So he's saying that's what was causing my motor to heat up, was the friction on that. But I said, yeah, I've been toying with RC cars for forever. I started out with Tamiyas, which are cars you have to put together, and you build the differentials and you do all that stuff. So, I mean, kind of know, a little bit about these things. They're not terribly difficult. I mean, I built an engine in my car. But all right, everyone, so let's go ahead and dig into this thing. Let's get all this upgraded stuff out and throw the factory stuff in. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here it is. It's complete. So this is what it would look like if I would have just bought the 3S Infraction to begin with. So we had the proper 3S ESC, the right motor that would have came in it, the heatsink, the fan, and the gearing that it called for, the 20-tooth pinion, 50-tooth spur. I did get tripped up with that slipper clutch. I wasn't used to that setup. I've only messed with one that was like on my Rustler, and it was a different setup than this. So I was trying to keep it all together. Then this little pin falls out, and then I lost everything. I kind of had to figure out how it went together, but we got it in there. And then I made a mistake. I got everything assembled, got the gear mesh set, and then realized I didn't have the heat sink on the motor. So I had to take it all back apart, take the spur gear back off, or the pinion back off, so I could get this, because it won't slide over the back because of the wires right here. So I had to take all that back out. The motor won't pull out with that 20-tooth pinion out of the case. So lessons learned. You just get in a hurry, make mistakes. But yeah, this is the way it would have came. So now this is my GPS right here. So this is why we're going to go do a speed run, see if this thing matches the speed that they advertised the 3S's would run. I'm going to burn these tires down because they're about shot, and I have a new set to put on here. But yeah, the only thing I don't have that would have been here is the actual Spektrum remote and receiver in here, so I won't have the telemetry from the battery, but not a big deal. Don't really care too much about that. On my airplane it's nice, but for everything else, I don't have it on the Traxxas, and I've lived. So there we have it. I do want to say, I hope I didn't sound condescending earlier. I do appreciate subscriber input, but kind of like when you say that if I do this and then I will know what a free flowing gear system feels like, because I said, no, I checked mine and it flows good, and they said, no, do this. And I mean, that is what it going through the motor and everything. So let me I'll put the Vendetta on here, because the Vendetta wasn't known to have these problems. I believe it was only with the Megas, the Infraction Mega. But look, I don't know how you hear a diff on a video. I mean, GoPros aren't, like super mics on them, but yeah. So this is an Infraction. I got the drive shaft, everything's hooked up, and it moves the same way. So So I haven't heard anybody talk about the diffs binding in these. I'm not sure if these have a... I believe that the Mega was already set up with the 3S diff, but I could be wrong. But I don't know if this... There might be a slight difference, which is why the Vendetta wasn't known to have that problem, but Vendetta moves just as easy as this. Just... Arrmas are loud. I'm not sure if it's the cut in the gear, like the whatever they call it, the 0.8 mod. Maybe it's the way the gears are cut. It's kind of like the Pro Charger on my Camaro. It's very loud when those gears are in there spinning. It's loud because it's like, I believe I had the helical cut gears. They had like a straight cut version which quiets down, but I mean seriously, why do you put a supercharger in your car to make it quiet? You know, you want to hear that whine out of those things. But I think it's just the gear. I don't know. Arrmas are loud. Like, you should hear the Felony. Like, I can hear that thing coming. I mean, it is just terrifically a loud setup where none of my Arrmas make this clicking noise. Or my Traxxas, none of my Traxxas vehicles make that noise. So, and the Felony doesn't have a slipper clutch. It has a center differential, so... But anyhow, like I said, I don't want to sound condescending, and I'm definitely not a know-it-all. But I was kind of just taken back by, well, you don't know what a free-flowing drivetrain feels like until you do this. But I think I do. You know, I've worked on enough stuff in my life. I know what something binding feels like. So, all right, it is time. We're going to go put a battery in here, run it, see how fast it goes, and see if it matches the speed of the factory 3S, and then we're going to finish these tires off because I have a new set, or slightly scuffed set that I took off the Vendetta. I do have a brand new set, but I'm just going to take the set that I took off the Vendetta, put it on here, and we're just going to finish these things off. See if we can't have like a little smoke fest. Alright, my man, just for shits and giggles, I went ahead and opened it up like you said. Open up the back diff, and you rubbed it across your hand and it ripped you open. And if I did what you said, I would know what a smooth, well, I don't know. How does that look? I said, I appreciate suggestions and advice, but when I say something is a certain way, I told you it ran smoothly. Look. So there you go. Like I said, I don't want to be condescending or kind of like a prick or anything like that, but I mean, it doesn't have the problem that you're talking about. Okay, so I had the strobe light. It's something that's required you to use when you fly drones at night, which I don't do. It was something I got. So what we're gonna do, you know, when these things get far away from you, it's hard to tell what way they're facing. So I figure if I put this in the back, I'll be able to tell if it's facing me or not. And then, you know, at worst case, if something does happen and I can't get to it in time, you know, maybe a car will see that flashing. So, all right. So, according to Arrma, their 3S runs 65 plus. So, we shall see if we can match that speed. So, I'm just going to take the GoPro off and make sure that we... So now we have start. Got mile per hour. Let's go. Oh. Right, that was pretty solid, man. We stayed in it quite a while. I'm having a hard time just keeping this thing straight. Pretty sure by now the electronics are kind of okay. Read. So there we have it, 58. Yes, that's all we got. I can try to increase the motor timing. I did back it down. It was at 26 degrees and I backed it down to 10. I don't know enough about motor timing, but 26 degrees seemed a little high. But plus I'm going to use this thing just for bashing around the house. So, hey, the strobe light did help. When that thing was way down there, I was able to see where the car was and know that it was facing away from me. So it did help, but it is kind of hard to see. I think I need it needs to be more facing back. But so the out of the box is 65. You know, if there's different tires on there, the other Hoons, which might be taller, that might be affecting my gear ratio. But you know, I'm not trying. Well, I would like to match the 65, but is what it is. It's still a great truck. I think it's gonna be a little bit just a little bit nicer having the Spektrum electronics in there. Just, I don't know, it looks nicer. It's a little bit neater. I think it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I had the parts and I figured, you know, just a nice little project with this. So let's see. Oh, that motor ain't nothing, man. Wow. I probably could put a little bit more timing in there, get some more top end, but you know what? We're not worried about it. I think as squirrely as this thing is, I think we're good. All right, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the revamp, the making of a 3S, like a factory 3S out of a brushed Mega system, and you enjoyed the speed run, man. Look, I am shaking. And now I got. All right, hold your horses. I figured out what happened. It wasn't the tires, because the 3S comes with the tires that I already have on there. I don't have the speed pinion. The 3S comes with a 20 tooth, which is what I have in there now, and a 26 tooth. So if you want to go 65 or 68, whatever it was, plus you need the speed pinion. So that's the problem. So I've replicated the factory truck, I believe, perfectly. It's running exactly as it should, just like a factory 3S out of a Mega. Not hard to do, just motor trans gearing. So there you have it. And I forgot to mention our next giveaway. We got the twin helicopters. One looks like Coast Guard, one looks like Apache. Now remember, these were sent to me for review. I did a review, so I used them. They're not brand new sealed in a box, but you will get two helicopters. The battery's already built into the helicopter, and you get two remotes, and there's a little box with some action figures and stuff in there. You'll just need to provide the AA batteries for the remotes. Sorry, I'm not throwing that in there. All batteries I have here at the house are rechargeable, and I'm not going to go buy batteries. So if you want a chance to win these two helicopters, link down below. Free to enter. I don't do that. You know, some of these larger channels be charging money to enter these things. I don't do that. So absolutely free to enter, free to win. So check it out. So, all right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.